Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. From the moment Jackson Levi Duggar arrived on Earth, there were lights, cameras, and millions of curious strangers watching. Born the 15th child and youngest son in one of America's most controversial mega families, he never knew a world outside the lens. In a recent reflective interview with friends, Jackson reportedly joked that his life growing up felt like The Truman Show, just crazier, referring to the iconic film about a man unknowingly raised on television. It was a comment tossed out casually, with humor and a grin. But like many jokes, especially from children of fame, it carried a weight, a subtle truth wrapped in a laugh. And if anyone knows the surreal experience of growing up on television, it's Jackson. From diaper changes to awkward teenage phases, every moment was filmed, archived, broadcast, and judged. So what does it mean to come of age when your first breath was practically part of a TV schedule? Let's step into the complex world of the child who never chose fame but inherited it like a family heirloom, whether he wanted it or not. I didn't even realize it was weird until I was older. Imagine being born into a world where strangers already know your name, your siblings' names, your parents' beliefs, your family's rules, and your bedroom layout. Where every milestone, from your first steps to your first awkward haircut, becomes an episode arc. That was Jackson's life. I thought everyone grew up with producers in the kitchen and boom mics over your head. A family friend recalled Jackson saying once, "I figured it was normal to go to the grocery store and have strangers ask why there were so many kids." To him, childhood didn't come with privacy. It came with cameras, contracts, and confessionals. While other children played pretend, Jackson learned early how to speak into the direct gaze of a lens and how to repeat a moment if production missed it the first time. Birthdays weren't private cake and balloon affairs, they were structured scenes with lighting adjustments. And somewhere in the blur of staged family devotions, chore charts, matching outfits, and road trips packed into a giant bus, a real boy was quietly trying to figure out who he was. The Truman Show parallel. Jim Carrey's The Truman Show is a story that often floats around circles of former reality TV kids. It's the tale of a man raised unknowingly inside a manufactured televised world. Yet unlike Truman, Jackson knew he was being filmed. He just didn't understand there was another way to live. Everyone compared the Duggars to a wholesome real-life family sitcom, but inside the bubble it was something much more complicated. When Jackson jokes about it now, he's not just referencing the constant filming, he's pointing to the odd psychological maze that comes with being raised as a brand asset. Truman was special because he didn't know he was different. Jackson was special because he knew, he just didn't know how to escape the script. Growing up the baby boy in a scripted life. In giant families, the youngest often falls into the role of the funny one, the adorable one, the charming final piece of the puzzle. In the Duggar universe, Jackson was that energetic younger brother who brought comic relief during seasons full of weddings, pregnancies, engagements, and dramatic family transitions. But unlike his older siblings, Jackson didn't experience the pre-TV Duggar years. He never lived in anonymity. His earliest memories include producers greeting him like a second set of aunts and uncles. He learned quickly that cute moments, dropping a pancake, tripping over a shoe, tattling lightheartedly on a sibling, could become national memes or GIFs. The cameras adored the youngest Duggar boy. Adoration can feel like sweetness, until you grow old enough to realize that attention is something you never consented to. Fans watched me grow up but didn't know me. Reality TV creates the illusion of intimacy. Fans feel attached. They feel protective. And sometimes they feel entitled. Jackson once joked that strangers online knew my middle name before I knew theirs, and I didn't know theirs because they were strangers on the internet. A world that adored the cute little Duggar boy also critiqued his expressions, his posture, his clothing, his schooling. His childhood wasn't just observed, it was interpreted, analyzed, spun into blog posts and YouTube videos. Growing up, he likely never scrolled through comments about his personality or mannerisms, but that doesn't mean those judgments didn't seep into the house. Family members have hinted that even the little ones felt the pressure, whether directly or indirectly. When the world watches long enough, you internalize that there is always someone watching, even when the cameras turn off. The quiet turning point. Every reality family eventually hits a crossroads. The point when the younger kids realize the world they grew up in was curated and monetized. Some embrace the fame. Others question it. Some leave quietly, others fight loudly. Most carry emotional contradictions they spend years unpacking. For Jackson, humor has become his shield, laughing off the oddities of his childhood. "Yep, my potty training was televised to millions, no big deal," is easier than digging into the uncomfortable truth. He didn't get to choose who saw him become him. He didn't choose the spotlight. He didn't choose the narrative, but he lived it anyway. Sibling shadows and finding a voice. Jackson's adult siblings have carried the family's name into headlines, lawsuits, scandals, memoirs, and documentaries. They paved a complicated path for him, one filled with warnings and lessons. He witnessed siblings distancing themselves, faith and identity crises, privacy battles, public heartbreaks and public victories, media storms they couldn't control. Some siblings turned to advocacy, speaking out about their upbringing. Others chose silence and stability. Jackson watched them all from the sidelines, absorbing every consequence and every triumph. For the youngest boy, it must have been like watching a fast-forward version of adulthood without the chance to try life off-screen first. A different future ahead? If Jackson really sees his life like the Truman Show, maybe it means he's stepping into the phase Truman eventually entered, the part where he finds the exit door and decides which world he wants to live in. Luckily, unlike the fictional character, Jackson isn't trapped in a dome. The cameras don't run his world anymore. His adulthood isn't predetermined by a producer's storyline. He has the power to curate his own identity now. And if humor is the beginning of processing, it might also be the doorway to healing. Because one can love family, love memories, love parts of a childhood, and still say it was strange. Both things can be true. And sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is admit the absurdity before you can embrace your autonomy. Crazy, but also formative. When Jackson describes his past as crazy, he's acknowledging the surreal circus he grew up in. But there's also a quiet undertone in his voice, a respect for the complicated childhood that forged him. He experienced things most kids never will. The shock of seeing yourself grow up on camera, the confusion of blending real family moments with scripted priorities, the thrill of fame mixed with the loss of privacy, the pressure of public morality, the struggle between identity and expectation. And now, the youngest Duggar boy stands on the edge of adulthood, a blank page in front of him, for the first time not outlined by producers or public perception. Who is Jackson outside the show? That's the story yet to be written. We have seen Jackson the TV child, energetic, playful, joking, full of little brother mischief. We haven't yet met Jackson the young man, the one shaped by a world he didn't choose, yet determined to define himself beyond it. Will he pursue college, trade, entrepreneurship, media, silence, faith leadership, something unexpected? Whatever path he chooses, one thing is clear. He isn't a character in someone else's show anymore. And if comparing his past to the Truman Show is his way of taking control of the narrative, of naming the weirdness instead of being defined by it, then it marks a powerful beginning. The lights may have followed him since birth, but the next spotlight is his to turn on or shut off whenever he chooses. A life once watched, now self-directed. As the world of celebrity mega-families continues evolving, Jackson Duggar's story reflects a universal truth for children born inside fame. One day, the cameras leave, and what remains is the task of discovering who you are in the quiet. That quiet can be scary, but it can also be sacred. Jackson has lived the spectacle. Now he gets to live the story. And for the first time, he is the one holding the pen, not the production team. If his newfound self-awareness and playful honesty are any indication, then this isn't the end of a show. It's the beginning of a life. One not filmed. One not scripted. One not consumed by millions. One simply lived. And that may be the greatest plot twist of all.